and setting the syllabus in the emerging areas. And we are also very much grateful to the Infosys because we have been patterned with this Infosys with the Campus Connect program. Our students are benefited a lot by attending the training and other things. So I hope these 6 days will give you the nuances of the blockchain, and you have to develop and you give the projects to the students, and you have to do the research and publish the papers and get the grants. So I hope this STTP will be very useful to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to introduce the chief guest of today's function, a magnetic personality, Mr. G. Roy Anthony Arnold, Lead Education, Training and Assessment, Infosys, Chennai. We call upon Ms. S. Ponni, Assistant Professor, to introduce our chief guest.
Good morning, everyone present online. I feel extremely honored to introduce our chief guest of the day, Mr. G. Anthony Arnold, Lead Education, Training and Assessment, Talent Acquisition and Fulfillment Function in Infosys, Chennai. He completed his graduation in physics at Loyola College in 1999. He then completed his master's in computer application at Bharathidasan University in 2002. His passion towards computer science made him to complete his master's degree in engineering in 2007. He also completed MBA at Alagappa University in 2015 and also completed in Master of Science in Applied Psychology at Annamalai University in 2020. It's a great privilege to have such tremendous personality with us today. He has a versatile experience of over 9 years in the teaching sector. He is an experienced professor and proven problem solver. He also had been an entrepreneur in Krishan Solutions for 6 months. He worked as a network engineer at Markwell Systems from 2002 to 2004. He then worked as a senior member under Education and Research at Infosys Private Limited, Chengalpet, Chennai from 2011 to 2014, where he was responsible for fresher training program during recruitment process, and also had an academic relationship with various colleges through Campus Connect program in and around Tamil Nadu. Since 2011, Mr. Roy Anthony Arnold has been associated with Infosys Private Limited as a lead education, training and assessment, talent acquisition and fulfillment function. His remarkable works are continuing at Infosys Private Limited. We feel honored by your presence, sir. On behalf of VCET and Department of Computer Science Engineering, we once again welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Ponni.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
A man of distinct vision, experience, and an inspiration to all of us is our chief guest. May we now request him to present his inaugural address.
Okay. So good morning to all professors, those who joined from various colleges in this online forum. I'm really happy to meet you all. And this pandemic is giving a new kind of experience for all of us. Right, it's also an example how the human being are able to adapt to the situation and then come back with that bang kind of thing. Right, we can able to understand now how we are different from other species in this earth. And we try to improvise ourselves in every aspect. And if I hope those who are experienced, they know very well. In the year 1990s, when we saw that yahoo.com website in a browser, we had a kind of wow, amazing kind of experience we had. And when I was studying BSc Physics in Loyola College, I still remember that moment. The first time when we went to internet along with my friends, we 6 to 7 people joined together. That time, 1 hour internet browsing is equal to 60 rupees. That time, so we had kind of managed some money, and then we went to that browsing center where we were. They allocated a machine and then they asked us to it, and we have nothing. No, we had no idea. We just had an idea to how click and all those things we know because of some computer courses we undergone. And when we saw that yahoo.com and then we searched for cricket and then saw that Sachin Tendulkar information on that website, we are really surprised. Oh, this much is possible like that. but within this right the next 2 decades, this completely changed. The same internet is been in everyone's pocket now. So if you want anything, we can go and search, and then we can take information. That is also kind of become a laziness also, because we know that everything is there, and then we will think that okay, we'll do that, we can sit and do like that, and then again how or when we are going to sit and do work, that is going to be a different one. And that is also brought a lot of challenges, especially in teaching a community, especially when we right, if you go back in history in some 20 years back or 15 years back, whenever any knowledge you're going to get, it's only channel to get knowledge is college and the faculty professors only. If you miss a session, if you don't have a good connect with the faculty, then you may miss something. But now we can say that, right, because even if whether you're teaching or not, but still they can acquire knowledge. We have other sources, and that is where the real problem for the especially for the teaching community. So right, now the competitor, right, earlier the competitor was another teaching faculty in your college, probably. When students would usually compare with other faculty, and then you may have to do something better than the other faculty. But now the fight is with your Google. Okay, you need to give more information much faster than Google. Then only the students can get close to us, and other things will happen. So what I'm telling is, right, the technology is evolving so fast, and we are right unable to focus where to sit, because whenever we hear a new term, then we rush to go behind that particular technology. Because I worked in various colleges, so I'll tell you that what will happen usually in any of the conferences or symposium. So whenever a symposium or a conference being hosted in any of the colleges, right, we look into the topic. If the topic is different and unique one, many faculty will apply for it, and then friends will they select only 2 or 3, and then they'll allow them to go for the symposiums. And most of the time, right, we will attend, definitely will attend. But what we do is, most of the time, as a faculty, we ensure that we get that DVD or CD, right? Whatever the topics deliver, the PPT, everything, we make sure that it has been written in a DVD or CD, and then we'll get it back along with our attendance certificate, other certificate. But definitely, we'll ask them to give that DVD and CD. What is that mindset behind getting the DVD is, okay, definitely we are going to explore more, and then we need this information to use it for our reference and to get other right material, right, kind of big material for to learn on that one. But most of the time, right, I believe that you know that will happen this to you also. When you come back to college, we have a normal work pressure and then other information, and then your right, the timetable is a kind of a lock for us, so it will lock us into the academic curriculum. And very rarely only some of the people might go out of that, and they continue that particular area. And then after some right, 6 months or 7 months or 1 year, when you are clearing up your self or your home, you will come across that particular CD, and then you will put the CD in dustbin. Okay, that is where that most of the time that knowledge will end up, most of the time. So the and even though, right, we wanted to have that career in that one, because by the time we have another new technology, that doesn't mean that we don't want, but by the time we get another new technology or new term come into the system, and then we will try to go behind that particular one. So that is where the real problem arises in when you are approaching for a PhD, or when you are trying to submit some kind of an information, so that you can get approval from the PhD guide immediately. And many professors, we have a difficulty of having the personal time to improve ourselves. We spend a lot of time in college and everything, but still, right, I believe that most of us having the problem when you come back to college, or sorry, when you come back to house, or when you're coming back to your normal personal life, very few faculty only allocating their own learning time, right, dedicated learning time, say at least 30 minutes or 1 hour per day, to improvise themselves or to focus on what they want. So that is the another area where we are missing many things, and then missing our interest, our focus, because every faculty definitely will have the ability to learn quickly. That is right, for sure. across, if you go with any industry for that matter, the educator, that faculty is having much more learning speed, or the learning curve is much more efficient than any other industry. But what is happening is we learn only as a generalist. We cover knowledge in all the areas, and then we never get into in depth. That in depth knowledge is very important. That is where it lead to patent. If, for example, I would suggest, if you go to America or Europe, where the trend is diverse, that is, the industry is depending on the academic. They go to academic, they get knowledge. But in India, it's a kind of reverse. This kind of conference where the person like me are coming and giving more right, addressing the real time than learning from the academic side. So that trend need to change, because the faculties are having much more knowledge, and then right, time, and then do that research. Right, if you come to industry, we do research from the revenue perspective. We do research from the revenue perspective. Okay, where we can do research so that we can make more revenue, where we can beat our customer, where we can capitalize more market, like that. But in education only, where we do research, right, irrespective of all these things, we see that where we can have the value to that work, or that value to the system or society, like that, we give more importance in that angle. So the research, whatever we do in colleges, it is not ending up at the patent. That is the real problem we have. So if you are going, if you already started your research work, or you are working on it, my suggestion would be, right, please focus on it to end up as a patent, as much as right, presenting a paper in various forums, various conferences. But along with it, also try to right, keep a habit of having a patent. That will change a lot. And suppose if you have a wonderful idea, and if it is got patented, and definitely you, right, the industry or the company who want to use it, then definitely you'll be paid for that patent, and you will get the royalty. All those things are there. But the idea is, right, most of the time the professors, they stop research after getting PhD. Okay, PhD is a kind of an right, indication that you have the ability to do research, and then once we complete that research, then we can continue further. But I have seen many of my friends, right, who complete PhD, they stop to complete research after that. So instead of that, we can, right, continue that research, and you can contribute more in terms of, right, even a small invention, a small algorithm efficiency improvement also will do a lot in terms of your patent. So when you come to this IoT blockchain, these two are very, very important. Especially blockchain is, right, slowly coming up, right, slowly it's coming up, and IoT is there before, right, blockchain also it was there. But again, when you have a generation of right, of 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, like that, each generation we have a different protocols and different devices was there outside to support it. Now the IoT is we are thinking everything along with the smart, right? Smart TV, smart fridge, refrigerator, like that. We come with a lot of smart devices. Now when we enable all those things with IoT protocol and IoT devices, so now we have both advantage as well as disadvantage. Both are there. So I think this particular program will help you a lot to understand, right, from the IoT perspective, from the blockchain perspective, and then how these two can integrate together to complement their right, to come across their weakness or the negative points of IoT. So some of the important IoT problem can be addressed with the help of blockchain. And blockchain is also, right, it's a kind of upcoming, or this kind of maturing technology is not completely matured. It is slowly, right, coming into that particular level. And I would right, in this session, today's session, we'll see some kind of, right, basic points about IoT, 5G, and then blockchain. Then what we can address with the help of our right, blockchain in IoT. That I will try to address in my first session. But you can either focus on IoT, or you can focus on blockchain, or you can focus on both together. So that's you got to decide whether your research focuses on only on IoT devices, that is communication protocols, and then giving the applications to receive informations, or the communication model, like that. In the case of your blockchain, are you going to focus on blockchain? In blockchain, the important research problem is on consensus algorithm, right? Different algorithms are out there, and how you can right, increase the transactions per second. One of the problem with blockchain is number of transaction which we can do in blockchain is really kind of an limited compared. We have different algorithm, different blockchain models are there, but still the important problem is number of transaction, and then the scalability issues are there, and then other some of the things are there, and you can focus on those things as a research problem. Suppose if you want to work on both IoT and blockchain, then right the areas where we can focus is how you can find a consensus algorithm when you are combining that IoT to blockchain together, or in what are the way you can enable the security, IoT security, with the help of blockchain, right? Definitely, IoT or blockchain is completely kind of different, and we'll see that in what way we can give the, or in what area we can give the security with the help of blockchain. So these are the a research area you can focus, and probably so I think I don't know how many of you already started working on your research, or you just wanted to get knowledge about IoT blockchain. I don't know that we'll get into that one, but the research is n number of companies coming forward to do a lot of research. If you see in India, the I don't know how many of you are following that income tax kind of thing recently. If you are filing your income tax right in regular every year, if you are filing your income tax one, you would have seen a lot of differences in the last 2 years, because right we the blockchain concepts are slightly getting into the right income tax department. So if blockchain has been implemented successfully, means nobody can cheat, or nobody can change the record, nobody can say that this is not my record. All those can kind of be will be removed. So, and we can able to apply that prediction algorithm on top of that to predict how much revenue you will get, and how who are the people might possibly right able to pay the income tax or not, like that. The income tax department, it's been started using this blockchain based concepts into that one. And hope you know that, right, Punjab National Bank issue, right, some on 1 year 1.5 years back, we had that letter of credit issue we had. Okay, that is also lead to this particular right problem, right? So in to avoid this kind of problem, the private banks are joined together, and they are trying to form a separate blockchain network to solve this letter of credit issue. So nobody can able to take double payment with the same letter of credit. So that is how the slowly this blockchain based systems are coming into picture one by one, and the same thing is started applying in various aspects. So I really appreciate the college to select this particular topic on focusing on IoT and blockchain. And we strongly believe in another 5 years and 10 years, these IoTs and blockchain will do a lot of domination will be there. So I think we will continue with the remaining session. So I stop here, and I really appreciate, right, all the professors or those who joined this particular session. And I wish you all the best to have a complete knowledge, and then your research on this area, which is definitely going to be a trendsetter in your career if you focus more on this IoT and the blockchain part. So thank you, Professor.
Thank you, sir, for your informative talk. And now this event is about to come to the end, and nothing is important than Thanksgiving. We now invite Dr. S. Kyle Willie, coordinator of Sttp, to propose the vote of thanks.
Happy morning to all present online. It's a privilege and a great pleasure for me to extend a word of thanks on behalf of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering and the entire fraternity of Velala College of Engineering and Technology to all those who have contributed in one way or other to make this inaugural function a grand success. First, we sincerely thank the AECTE for granting the sponsorship to conduct this STTP. We express our heartfelt gratitude to our secretary and correspondent, Sri S.K. Chandrasekhar sir, who gave us hopeful encouragement in all our endeavors. We are highly indebted to our principal, Dr. M. Jayaraman sir, who is well known for his boundless energy, patience, integrity, and commitment. We thank our Dean, Professor P. Jayachandra sir, and COE, Dr. K. R. Valluvan sir, for their eminent leadership. We accord our sincere thanks to our today's chief guest and resource person, Mr. Roy Anthony, for his informative and valuable speech and for going to spend his precious time with us in this first session. We also thank all other resource persons who are going to share their treasured knowledge with us in the coming sessions of this STTP. We thank our HOD, Dr. S. Jabin Beham, for our valuable guidance. We also thank the HODs, faculty members, ministerial staff members, non-teaching staff members of all departments for joining us today. We thank all the participants of this STTP for going to show their active participation for these 6 days. Looking for your great cooperation in the coming days of this STTP. I once again thank you all for joining with us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all who have joined for this inaugural function. Now let us invite our resource person for the first session of 6 days STTP, Mr. G. Roy Anthony Arnold, Lead Education, Training and Assessment, Infosys Chennai, to move this session forward.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm sharing my screen. Hope my screen is visible. You can confirm it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
thank
It's
you.
visible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, right, in this session, I'm trying to touch upon some important things with our IoT and then related to now the 5G and then the blockchain concepts. And we'll see that I'll try to make it as much as possible interactive. And I hope the participants also can help me in making this session as a memorable session for you. Okay, so when these IoT devices are coming picture, a lot of whenever we go with we have our own imagination, what will happen, what things will change like that, and whenever a new technology or new trend is coming in, usually we have our own imagination, what will happen. The same thing, right? I hope you know, remember that the movie, Terminator Judgment Day. When that movie came in, people thought, okay, in future if we have robots, then probably we may have this kind of problem like that. So the imaginations is there is no limit for the human imagination. So let me start with that. Before that, I'll start with a comic, just for you to smile and laugh. Okay. So when we have an IoT devices in all the places, probably people might already engage with their mobile phones, right? So probably these devices will be giving you a direction what to do next. Kind of one is just a cartoon to smile. That's it. So we don't know, right? So when we start implementing this into the practical one, we'll come to know what are things are possible, what not possible. Fine. Now, so from the Wikipedia, this is a definition for IoT. And it's right in front of things. The definition of IoT in Wikipedia. It's a network of physical object devices, vehicles or buildings and other items embedded with electronics, software, sensors, and network connectivity. So when we say IoT, it is not about only sensor. There's a lot of things are involved, right? We know about that. So we have to know the network connectivity, which are the where you are going to apply that sensor, where you are going to put the sensor, what kind of sensor, and what are the coverage part of that sensor. Are we going to focus only at the proximity, or we are going to have some 10-meter area coverage or 100-meter area coverage like that? And so based on that, we have even the cloud computing has come down to edge computing, where we do the computing along with the so edge computing concept. So all these things are kind of an evolvement, slowly into different concepts. But when we talk about this IoT, this is the basic one. So before I proceed further, I just wanted to get some input from the participants. So probably you can able to join. You can give your response here. Let me. Okay, you can use this website menti.com. So what is your research area? Or if you have decided, or you're going to probably you have you may not started the actual research, but your decision. Okay, this is going to be my research area, something like that. You can give it over here to see that the participants expertise or participant interest area. So you can go to that website menti.com and you can use this code 1721273. Then you can type in your response. So I'm waiting. So you can go to the website menti.com and yeah, cloud computing. I got one first response. Cloud computing, machine learning, data science. Okay. Can you give your interest area, research area? Maybe you can type right one or two. You can type in that text box even further response. So as of now, I got response from three response. Others, okay. So IoT security, yes. Okay, using blockchain. Okay. So I got three people responded to this one. Is there any problem there? Are you connected with this one? Shall I give some time for you to answer it? Okay. Fine. So I think let me move to next question. So I'm really happy that most of you, I think at least four of you, able to inform us that so what can be your research area. Now, if you take this right, all or anywhere right, the cloud computing, machine learning, or data science, all are related to each other. You are right. Blockchain, IoT, big data, analytics, right, cryptography. All these things are related to all these technology. Nowadays, right, what is the real problem is drawing a line between two topic or two area is really right a problem now. So because all that emerging areas are kind of an overlap with another technology. So when you have too much of overlap, it is too difficult to draw a line between two technologies, and that is also right making us a kind of to learn more than one technology and to focus on one technology in depth to do the research or study on that particular technology in depth. Okay, so let me go to the next one. So just given a one, you can let me know that your knowledge level in IoT. Okay, got response from four participants. Okay, so you have right. At least you have beginner level knowledge there. Okay, fine. So with this, right, let me continue with my presentation. So we'll have a quiz side by side, so you can connect to this Kahoot quiz. Okay, so you can either you can use your mobile phone or you can use your browser to join here. Okay, so you can join here so that we can take the session. Along with that, we have a quiz. So it's a kind of an and trying to make it as kind of interactive and then interesting. So please, either you can go to this website, www.kahoot.it website, and you can type this game pin to join here, or you can install Kahoot app in your mobile phone, and then you can use this pin number to join. So if you are using in your mobile, yes, hello, yes.
If you go to kahoot.it, where should we give this pin, sir? How to enter?
You can enter this pin number. I'll be asking, right? The text box will be there. Right? Game pin, right? Enter the game pin. This is a game pin. Right? So enter that pin number. 3245075 is a game pin. And you can give your a name, that is the short name, to uniquely identify in this particular one. Okay, only 7 people so far joined. Is 7 people joined? Others joining, or shall I be in? Okay, you want the link? I'll share the link, no problem. This is the link. Then this is the pin number. So I shared the website link and the pin number. You can join. If there is any problem, please let me know. If you want, you can connect through mobile also. You can install your app and then you can give the pin number. Or you can click on this link which I shared and you can give the pin number. Okay. So you can remember the pin, you can join in between also. Let me start. I didn't want to waste time further. Let me start with this one. So the first question. So any idea who coined this term? Okay, you have 25 seconds remaining. Okay, so 5 people got it correct answer. Okay, and George Favreau is one of the important person who is behind coining the term called cloud computing. The cloud computing term coined by George Favreau. And Satoshi Nakamoto, you know, he is a behind on your Bitcoin and the blockchain. Okay. So Elon Musk is a kind of entrepreneur, you know that, you know about him, right? But four people are selected. Elon Musk also. Elon Musk is behind SpaceX and then other company, but not with any new terms he coined. Okay, fine. So let me continue now the session presentation. So the term right coined by Kevin Ashton in the year 1999, Internet of Things, and this also we will call it as a machine-to-machine technology, like talking cars, talking to another one kind of one. So that you can remember this basics part. And when we talk about right IoT, it is about the concept of right anywhere, any place, any network, then still you're able to connect it, and anyone can, and anybody, any devices, any service, anything, right? In which are connected in the internet, which are connected to each other, which are connected to internet, where we try to get that interaction to happen, and then helping the user right with the information which is having. So we have sensors and a lot of other devices, everything is there. The idea is to give much more better service to the right human being, or the client or the customer, we can take it anyway. So it's kind of a much more support in right to the business to do more. Okay. So let me have a quiz in this area. So I'm going to next question. Whatever we discussed so far, from that only have the next question. So as of now, Anbu is leading, Pony in second place, and SJB in third place. We'll see that. So next question. Okay, we'll see. Okay, it's MTM technology. Okay, I have given the slide also, right? It's a machine-to-machine technology, right? So I appreciate those who got it correct answer. We'll see that how that board changed now. Okay, fine. So let me go to the basic part. IoT requirement, essential requirement from the application point of view, or from the enterprise company, right? Like Infosys company point of view, what we see that the important requirements when we are going to bring IoT in practice. What are the things, or what are the items are very important for us? So the first important part is right. We need an analytics, because we are going to collect a lot of right information. So we need a kind of an edge computing platform, or edge computing based right analytics, so that we can do right analysis on the data, which going, because collecting the data, it is not going to help on anything, because your sensor is going to keep on sending data, and if you are going to collect the data and then we are going to store it in some places, it won't help anything, right? So we need to process the data, so need to indicate whether it is a minimum or maximum. For example, if you are measuring a temperature as a minimum temperature or maximum temperature, based on that we have to do other triggers, business triggers. So there is a need for having an analytics system. So that's why I mentioned, right, that when some of you mentioned data science, so as your research area, the data science will be there in almost all the area you need to during this analytics part as well. So the same thing for IoT, because IoT device is going to keep on give you the information continuously, and then we need to process, and then we need to get some good amount of output, right, the insight from the data. That insights will help us to do next what we got to do next. And then second important requirement is to have an right data ingestion system or a protocol for that one, and the stream processing. So hope you know, if you have are focusing on data processing, probably you would have come across Hadoop and a lot of other systems, especially Kafka protocol, which is a kind of an stream processing, right? It's the same. Stream processing means your data is going to continuously float up, right? Continuously coming up. There is no pause. So when you are having that, we call it as a flood, data flood. When the data are coming continuously, then we need a system to receive them and then to process them in a proper way, right? Then only we can able to make it for the analytics. So the second important requirement when you are going to have an IoT is this particular part, data ingestion and your stream processing area. Then third one is our device management. That is IoT devices. We are going to have a lot of sensors, a lot of devices. How are we going to manage these devices? Because we have to identify which other devices are turned into rogue devices. Because when somebody is having that breaching that layer and then conquering that IoT devices, so will do a lot of harm. So we need to have a mechanism or a system to identify whether all the IoT devices are working correctly, and or it's there is any malfunction, or it has been right hacked by somebody, or it is compromised. All these things we need to capture, and that is comes under your device management. So we need a system to manage all these IoT devices, where those devices are deployed, and then whether it has been working condition or not, and then the service time period, and every device having its own right lifetime, right? So 1 year, 2 year, like that, we have a lifetime of that particular device. Some devices we have a very long lifetime, the duration is very long, and in that case we need to check whether the device is working correctly or not. So we need to have some kind of an mechanism or system to identify that device's current status, and are they complete control with the application where we have implemented for some particular purpose. And then the fourth important one is the cold bath and your advanced analytics. We need to look into the analytics from the device perspective. So how long the device is having any problem, or the memory part or the processing part, how much power it has been taking, consuming. Is there the power is coming correctly or not? Is there any other problem like that? We need to have some right advanced analytics into that one to understand the from the aspect of your IoT devices. So the first one, the analytics is based on the data it has been sending. This analytics is based on right towards the life of that particular IoT devices. And then last important one is right, we need to integrate all these things in our business system. Then only it is going to help the right that particular purpose. If you talk about a smart city, then if these devices are unable to right communicate them, right share the data with other systems, other system in place, then there is no point of having the IoT devices, right? So when we are seeing that picture, the comic picture, when they say right that interacting with that user, right? So that kind of interaction will happen only when we have a system in place to receive the information sent by that analytics, and then updating that user, and then getting that response from them in what way or how they respond. For example, if you remember that cartoon which I displayed earlier, right? If you are crossing that road, ignoring that particular instruction or something else, that also will be captured, whether that instruction has been helping the right person to adapt into that information properly or not. So when we have this IoT devices, definitely we can track a lot of data, but the only important challenge is right the IoT devices should not be hacked, or should not be right malfunctioning or giving wrong data, should not mess up with other correct data, right? So those are things are very very important. So so when we are going to implement this IoT solution, right, these are the requirement we have seen, the 5 important requirement. So when we go and implement an IoT solution, what are the important challenges we may have to address, right? Or typically these challenges will be there whenever we go for an IoT based solution. right? So one important problem, right? Whenever we come across IoT, people scare immediately. What if it has been hacked? For example, when we talk about autonomous car on road, autonomous cars are going to be in on our roads in another mostly by another 5 years, right? Not more than that. Already many countries they started bringing these autonomous cars, and especially for long truck, right? The truck for long distance coverage, they are trying to replace the driver with autonomous system in place. So when we talk about autonomous cars and all, the immediate the fear those people will get it. If what will happen if somebody hack the car and then making that accident, other thing like that, we always think about that extreme cases. So the same thing whenever we talk about IoT, right? The important. So when we did the review or research, the collected input from other people, what they mentioned is 32% of them are really had a concern or challenge with the IoT security. How we going to implement the security? So that is given by 32% of the people. So definitely IoT security is going to be a problem in many aspects, from the protocol aspect, from the application point of view, and from the right integrating the data with the system perspective, and then right the lifetime of your IoT devices. Many things are there. So it is all connected to that particular security issue. Then 31% mentioned about the problem with the cross-department cooperation. So when you have this IoT devices, definitely you have to collaborate with the other department, because IoT is a kind of a tool which is going to help the other department to fine-tune their analytics. Instead of taking a rough calculation, we are going with that more specific data. So in that case, the department, right, each people, right, that they need to come forward and they have to support each other in the this from the implementation perspective. Okay. And then third important one is your disparate data integration. How we are going to integrate that data into a system. We need to have a right model or the algorithm or that system engine should be configured or designed in such a way to integrate the data into that one. So that is the another important challenge. And 29% mentioned that about that skilled talent. So even though we talk about IoT a lot, but still that skilled resource who can right tackle these challenges or to implement this in better way. Still, some of them are concerned about not getting or not availing that talent to work on that IoT area. So that is where the this kind of workshops going to help us. And when we are adapting this IoT curriculum into our syllabus, and making our students to learn and then practice more on that, definitely those students, those who have an interest towards IoT, they will mention their interest area is IoT in their resume, and probably if they attend this skilled talent will start get to slowly. So as of now, we don't have a problem for development. For example, when we talk about Python developer or Java developer, there is no scarcity. We have abundant resources, more resources we have. So it is a kind of a problem for company to do recruitment and based on that knowledge level. But here we don't get that right. The person also not there, enough resources are not there in this technology. Okay. Fine. So when we talk about IoT communication, the radio, this communication system, I'm just sharing that overall picture. Right. I hope you all aware about some of the things. So with the assumption, I'm just showing this. Right. The area. Right. If you see this, we have a different area. Only is right in that location where we got the proximity, that immediate proximity where we have, that is less than 10 centimeter distance. And then we have the different distance based on that the distance coverage. We have different protocols are in right. When we talk about WPAN, it's about wireless personal area network. Hope you know that. And WHAN is wireless home area network. And the WFAN is wireless field area network, or we can say factory within a company. If you want to communicate, you can go with that particular WFAN protocol. And then WLAN, we know that, right? So wireless local area network. And WNAN, right, which is wireless neighborhood area network. Then after that, right, more than 5 kilometer. So whatever we have discussed, less than 5 kilometer. When you go with more than 5 kilometer, then we have a cellular WWAN and then LP WAN and then LP WAN, right? We have unlicensed, licensed, both are there. So license comes under the 3GPP and right, your narrowband IoT. That is that we have, and LP1 is comes under the unlicensed category. We have Sigbox, right? Sigbox, LoRa, talents, all these things are comes under that one. So when we have this 5G, definitely we'll be having a lot of changes accordingly. So slowly, right, companies have started implementing, countries have started implementing 5G. Even though, right, we have a lot of issues with 5G network. The people are right. People are trying to address those challenges. Especially, many people are giving concern about the radio, right, or the activity bandwidth. So people are analyzing on whether it is really going to have much impact or not, or it's a kind of a speculation that. So still it is going on. Meanwhile, 5G adoption is slowly is coming into picture. So when that comes into picture, because 5G is one of the models, right? All the time internet kind of, right? So the that is possible. That is needed for your IoT. So when we have 5G with IoT, then we'll have a different kind of things going to happen, right? So when we talk about that, the less than centimeter or the proximity bus, we have NFC on, then we have, right, Bluetooth LE, right, and then 6 piece Z-Way, and then wireless HART network, and 802 right, 11. That's based on different protocols from IEEE. Then we have the six Zigbee NERN, right? All these are so the real problem for IoT is this is the real problem, because we don't have a standard protocol or mechanism for our devices. Based on different devices, we are going to have a different protocol, and each protocol is having its own advantage and disadvantage. And suppose if you are improvising your business, you are moving to next level, then you may have to change the devices completely, or we may have a problem. So it's a kind of an difficulty for that when you come to implementation, to draw a line. So where you are going to focus, what you are going to focus. So those kind of things are challenging, and definitely that security aspect is really really important, because most of the devices are going to in the layer, right? Your if you remember the TCP/IP protocol, it's going to be more rely on the second and third layer of your protocol stack rather than the higher level. So when you have a third layer level, then we need to have, right, have a different mechanism to support, right, to protect the device from not from the hacking or from the attacks. So that is the other real problem which we have. Okay, so we'll have a quiz. Hope you remember this terms and all. Based on that, I'm moving with that quiz. If you have any question before that, you can ask me, or you can type in the chat window. Otherwise, I'll move to next one for a quiz. Okay. So, ready for a quiz?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think they are taking a lot of time. I think I don't know how many of you are there. Fine, and I think only three people only answered, but nobody got it correct. So odd man out, right? Which is not relevant, which is not relevant to this one. So I think any algorithm which is not the focus of IoT, because we can do that, right? It's not related to that IoT device. Fine. So we'll go to that next quiz question. There is no change in the leaderboard. Okay. Next question. Ready? Be ready. Okay. Answer it quickly. Yeah, I think two will answer correctly. So then you will have a change in the scoreboard accordingly. Yes. Okay. So now let me go to next one. So these are the list of products. This is where another important challenge with IoT. Which protocol you are going to focus? So what is that advantage? That is the real mess with our IoT related area. So these protocols are more focusing on the data transfer, right? On the application data transfer. So whenever we design IoT application, I think somebody activated mic. Any question, professors? Someone activated their mic.
சரி இருந்தாலும் உங்களுக்கே வச்சுக்கோங்க.
Professor, somebody is activated mic. Who is? I don't know. Okay, let me continue. So if you see this right, when you are using Azure IoT, we have a separate protocol for that, AMPQ and then HTTP STC protocol. And you can see this different messaging response, request response model or publish subscription model, right? So you're going to have a different messaging model based on the protocol. Some protocol supports both model. Some protocol supports only one particular model. The most important nowadays we use is HTTP REST protocol, right? This is most predominantly used for application. When you have the client server model, then we go with this HTTP REST, and then when we go with the kind of hierarchy based or a tree based model, most of the time we go with this COAP model, which will be mostly used. And right, whenever you want to go with this kind of P2P peer to peer network model, then we'll be using this 0MQ. Okay. So the architecture is something different. The same way, UNP also kind of P2P only, but right, it's slightly different over this kind of client server, but it's purely P2P. Your 0MQ is purely P2P. And also we'll have the resources, how many users will be needed for it. You can see right the RAM and right flash memory, like that we have given the instructions. So the real one of the problem with our IoT model is finding the right device and the protocol, and then the for that particular application, right, and then coming with that right solution to integrate the data. So all these things are kind of a problem, especially some of them are more of dynamic nature. So we may have to come with a plan how we can dynamically adapt to that situation. And right, each model, each protocol has been successfully implemented in some place, and that is where we given this success story. You can see right. So Azure IoT is mostly you can see it in your latest wearables model, all the devices we have. Okay. So let me take a pause on here, and we'll get into blockchain. I have given some basics information on IoT. I will get into blockchain some information. Then I'll come back again to the IoT with the latest trend, and right what are the in what way the blockchain can support IoT. Right. Again, it's from the introduction part of it, and in upcoming sessions you have more sessions dedicated to IoT and dedicated to blockchain also, right, to address that IoT right issues with the help of blockchain. So I just wanted to check with you before we proceed further, right? Let me go with can you answer this question? From your point of view, what are the issues with IoT? From your point of view, it could be anything. You can let me know with one right, one word or two word kind of one. So, what are the possible issues with IoT from your point of view? If you know about IoT, and then based on the discussion what we have, so you can type it your response. You can go to this menti.com website. I'm sharing it in the chat window. I typed the chat window. You can go to this. You can give your concern? From your point of view, what are the issues? Not only from security, from it could be from anywhere. Okay, what are the issues? One of these, I think, one person responds to security issue. Then other issues with IoT device. Yes, definitely power consumption, definitely a kind of problem, and that's why, right, that the distance coverage, and then the nature of data and how frequent we are going to send the data, and then are these devices going to interact with other devices or not, right? All those things are going to define upon that power consumption. So definitely power consumption is an important issue with our IoT devices. Okay, I got three responses so far. Yeah, cloud attacks. Okay, we have a different right attacks model, especially when we I don't know how many of you know about the botnet. Do you know about botnet concept? Botnet. We have a concept called botnet. Do you know that? Do you aware about that? Botnet. You can just respond in your chat window, yes or no. Botnet. Okay, so Professor Sindhuja mentioned as no. Others, not much. Okay. Lada Jyoti mentioned as not much. Okay. Any idea what is that botnet, Professor Lada Jyoti? So botnet is kind of right. The device is compromised to the hacker. Okay, and the user of the device might not aware about that. That's where the real problem. So botnet is it's a if you watch movies very often, right? You can relate to that Tamil movie, right? What is that movie called? Tupaki, right? Where the sleeper cell concept, right? The sleeper cells, right? If you, I think the same movie was dubbed in other language also. So the sleeper cell concept, something related to your botnet. So your machine is already compromised, but you don't know that, and hacker will activate, and then they will get information whatever they want, and from your machine whenever there is a need. Okay, kind of mod. So if your IO devices are compromised, so some of your devices might be right a botnet that is controlled remotely, and then right damaging your data kind of part. So the attacks, different attacks, right? The cloud attack is a very important part, and DDoS, right? Your distributed denial of service attack. All these things are kind of a problem. Um, okay, so understanding IoT, yes, definitely. Initially, you may have issues with that because you should remember that protocols and then different numbers. When you have that right IEEE based definition, then 3GPP based definition, and then right your IEF, right, Internet Engineering Task Force, then RFC, request for comments, RFCs. When you go, all these things take some time for you to right understand. Yes, and then internet walls. Yes, so that is another important one. Confidence, it's a kind of our psychological part. I right, and it is about a psychological part is something like when the business people are going to invest money on it, that confidence is lacking because they might be afraid if things goes wrong, what will happen with the monies, and then the reputation, the goodwill among the right from the customers, all those things will take a toss, right? So that is where that problem really, from the learner perspective, right, it's about getting into that knowledge, and then once we understand the concept, then you'll confident. But from the business point of view, when they see some sample project somewhere successful implemented, and then they taking advantage of it, that is where, so the trend setters, mostly the trend setters are always attractive, because usually people will try to afraid of taking some decision, but there are some people, they never hesitate to try new things, and they will go ahead, whether they fail or succeed, that is going to be a learning lesson for others. If it has been failed, then others know what should not do. If it has been successful, they know okay how they succeeded. Now how we can replicate the same for that particular new business model. They'll try to adapt it. So it's always about right that innovator, those of the people, those who are going to implement it first, will always don't bother too much about the confidence. Okay, but other people, right? So the other people will lack of confidence definitely be there based on that. So these are some important things, yes, of course, and especially the attacks, the security issues are there. Okay. Now I just wanted to check with you your knowledge level in blockchain. Can answer the question. Go to mandy.com and use the code. I think the same code. Okay, got response so far from 6 people. Fine. So let me proceed based on this information. Okay, one professor mentioned as intermediate knowledge. Okay, fine. So now when we talk about blockchain, right, we'll have a lot of things, a lot of the information we got to learn about blockchain. I feel that some of you are new to blockchain. So I'll try my level best in making to understand the blockchain. And then we'll get into this remaining part of IoT, see that how the blockchain is going to be helpful for us. Okay. So the blockchain, we can make it simply writes a shared cryptographically unalterable ledger. That is what very important. So all the business, everything is about a transaction. The transactions are recorded in ledger. So we are trying to have an ledger which is unalterable, which is immutable. So nobody can change it. That is what we try to achieve it here. Okay. So we are going to focus on 3 important concepts here. Whenever we talk about blockchain, we have to remember the basics on these 3 areas. Number 1 is peer-to-peer network. How that P2P network works, we should have some basic knowledge. And then the cryptography algorithm. In cryptography, again, which are things are very important is that our public key cryptography, hashing algorithms, and then digital signature. These 3 things we have to be right or strong. So whenever you are going to learn about write a blockchain, probably you can think of these things. First one is for the blockchain, the 3 important area is your P2P network, and the second one is cryptography, and then third one is your game theory. So if you have some basic game theory concepts, then this game theory will help you on the consensus part. Consensus algorithms are somewhat related to your game theory. And in the cryptographic part, you have to focus on these things. All right, when you come to blockchain, number 1 is your hashing, right, a hashing part, hashing algorithm, different types of hashing, all these things. And then your public key cryptography. Then you have to focus on your digital signature. So these are the important things you have to learn if you want to get into the blockchain area. So blockchain is not a new technology. It's a kind of right old concepts are brought combined in a new bottle. It's right old wine in new cup, we say, right? The same way, all the concepts are old, but right we are combining that concepts in the right right way, and then we are bringing the blockchain into the system. So blockchain, if you are getting into that one, probably that name you may to wonder, but once you get into blockchain, right, you may not have a difficulty, because all the concepts whatever you're discussing are part of your different subject already. We are trying to combine them in the right composition, and then we are connecting them, putting together to make this blockchain to happen. Okay, so we are going to have a ledger. The ledger is going to keep all your transaction. The ledger are right where you can't edit anything, which means once you have ended anything, that information shall be permanent. So the blockchain, the real challenge is feeding of data, because once you enter the data, nobody can change it, which means we have to be very careful, sure about that information which you are going to enter. If the information wrongly entered, and then after 10 years if you want to change it, that will be too difficult, because you can't change that information at all. So you may have the other problems with that. So that is right away one of, I think probably in upcoming session we may have talk about more on blockchain, where you will have, and I'll try to give some information on it. And the blockchain is shared. Shared means the ledger whatever we are having, which is going to be shared with other nodes as well. So which is why we call it distributed, right? So in our normal model, the ledger will be kept by only one person, right? If you are doing a business, only the owner of the business will have the ledger. Other people can't able to look into the ledger. But when you come to this blockchain model, it's a peer-to-peer network. So all the nodes in the network, all the peers in the network will have the copy of the same ledger. So which means right, nobody can attack that machine to steal the information, because now you have many machines are there. So nobody can if you are trying to right, edit something in one node, which will not reflect in other node, so other nodes will easily understand that that particular node is corrupted. So that is where the advantage of having a blockchain. So this is going to this increases the trust, accountability, and then transparency across business network. So right, especially I'll tell you that one simple instance. Hope some of you might know this, but I don't know. So the supply chain network, right? The supply chain network where we had this particular problem is been addressed, right? The blockchain. Um, hope you know about right, the big retailer, the outlet company, right? Hope you know that, right? Which company is there leading in having that retail outlet chain? Any idea? Worldwide, which company is having more number of retail outlets? Can type in chat window. You remember that company? Which company is having more retail outlet chain across globe? Many countries, not in all the countries. Many countries they have branches. Retail outlet chain. Amazon is having chain on web based, right? It's not a retail outlet, it's a online based service, right? Amazon is different. A retail outlet where you go and buy items. So Walmart, okay, Walmart, we have that, right, retail outlet. So the Walmart, what happened is they usually procure item from a different country. Okay, they all the items will be there in Walmart. Whatever the item you want to buy, that will be there in Walmart. So they procure item from different country, and lot of shipment will be there at the same time, and then you have to track each and every item. So usually that will be kind of difficult. It will be a lot of difficulties involved into that particular part. So what happened is I'm just giving one scenario. This kind of a scenario happened regularly. They had a problem. So they brought they usually buy a lot of fruits from different parts of the country, and sorry, different parts of, right, the globe, and then they'll make it transfer that items to the outlets. So what happened is one particular time, one particular variety of fruit, the customer complained that fruit is not good, it is really bad one, like that. So the Walmart, that particular branch manager wanted to track where that particular fruit right came, where they bought that particular fruit. So here they are not buying it from a single seller. Actually, this kind of an right a cross country network. They have a network from other countries, right? For example, if they are buying mangoes from India, means now they will not, they don't know that farmer directly. They have no idea about who is the farmer. So the farmer will cultivate, and then that the mangoes are reaped, and then right will be collected by the local agent. The local agent will give it to the other agent. Then that other agent will go to the Walmart. I think somebody raised a hand. Any question, Professor? Somebody raised a hand. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, right, when they get into the system, what they had, it took almost right for them to track it down. Who is the actual farmer from where they collected? It took almost 2 weeks for them. Okay, 1 to 2 weeks they took average for them whenever they want to see the provenance part. Who right delivered that item? So they went back and checked the system because they have some limitation. Now they have to ask the distributor where you collected this particular item. Then that particular distributor need to check his own machine, and then the bills or the vouchers. Then you need to go to that Indian distributor, and then the Indian distributor will check with the local distributor. Then local distributor will check who are that farmer. So where you'll be having that record, the trail of record, right? If the records are not clear, then you will not get the clear information. And some bright people might give falsified or fake data or fake information, because they might not have the proper information all the time, or they don't want to disclose that. So because of all this problem, they had a kind of an problem of collecting this record, right? Who actually sold the data, from where we procured the provenance part. It has been a problem for them. So after they implementing blockchain solution, the blockchain is right where it brought all the business partners into single chain. So they know that which farmer, right? We'll have a lot of farmers will be there. So you are not going to have only 2 farmers, 3 farmers, right? Because each country are going to have a lot of farmer, and you are going to buy the item, different item from different farmers. So when you are bringing all the people into blockchain network, now they were able to track down, right, where that particular item is procured, right? It is taking right 30 to 2 hours, 30 minutes to 2 hours. Within that, they are able to track it down. Okay, which from where we procured this item, or these particular things are continuously happening, or it is a new problem. If it has been continuously happening, then they initiate the next level. Why we have to procure items from this particular vendor or this particular distributor? Because they are keep on sending the right damaged goods, or the proper items are not been received. So the earlier one, right, by the time when you are having that data in hand, right, 2 weeks time, all the fruits would have sold there already, and the customer will go with the kind of an negative mindset, negative feeling about that one. The service offered by the Walmart is not good, like that. So once the Walmart is implemented this solution, then entire supply chain market is being a kind of a trend changing, because now customers knows that in Walmart, if you go there, the items will be good, because they have a system in place to track it down, and then they will ensure that we get that good quality product, right? But right now that kind of a trust is not there in the exit system. For example, if you take our Ola and Uber, right? When you are, so now we are not traveling, but before pandemic, right? When you are traveling with your Uber or Ola, we have an app. We make that travel request, and then that the car will come. But we trust only Amazon. Sorry, we trust only that Uber, or we trust that Ola, because we don't know who is going to be a driver, and what kind of a car will be there, whether it's a quality car, whether the car is maintained properly or not. We have no idea. We have no idea. We have nothing. We know about that, and we don't know about nothing about the driver. Even though we have a ratings, 5-star, 4-star ratings are there, but still we don't know about that driver, whether the driver is really right a good one or not. Like nowadays, you can see some more data from the right driver aspect also. Because of this kind of problem, they improvise it. But still we are depending on that Ola or Uber, because we believe that the Ola or Uber, they check the cab, and then they ensure that the quality of the travel is going to be great for the consumer. So there is no data to support or prove that is going to be for sure before we take the travel. Suppose if everybody thinks is connected in blockchain, we know that, right, when that car was went for service, then whether that driver is a new driver or a old driver, or that vehicle is a own vehicle, or he is right as a kind of a driver for that vehicle, and then whether he is having any criminal record or not, all those things we can able to track it within a right a span of time. So that is where that business trend is change is happening, to ensure that right, giving the more trust to the user or that service taker from the business. Okay, so let me continue with some questions. Okay, we'll go to, hope you're ready to answer the question. Okay, so four will got it correct. Bitcoin network is not a blockchain. Bitcoin network is the first application of blockchain. It's the first application of blockchain. Okay, so this will change the leaderboard, I hope. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So when you are talking about this blockchain, right, what is the another important aspect of blockchain is the blockchain can be integrated with all other emerging technology right now happening in the industry. That is where another beauty of blockchain, and why we give too much importance to blockchain is another reason. Because whenever we talk about right IoT, there's all these things can be connected together, especially the blockchain can be used to connect all these things together. Your IoT, edge computing, your 5G revolution, your artificial intelligence, big data, because your smart contract concept, all those things are you can combine with your artificial intelligence and the big data, because your blockchain is going to give the data which is permanent, and you can't change anything. So whenever we go with the big data, one of the problem is the validity of the data, whether the data is correct data or invalid data. So we have a data lake concept, a lot of other concepts are there, right? So using that, we try to drill down and to correct that correct data, we try to take it, because if you take the wrong data, then our analytics is going to be wrong. So we need to ensure that the data is correct. So when you are taking the data through blockchain, that we can be sure that the data is correct, because the blockchain nobody can correct, nobody can edit it, right? So the data which is coming through blockchain, which is definitely you can assure that this data is correct, right? That is where we try to integrate all these things, right? Can be done easily with your blockchain. So when we are having this blockchain, these are the 5 important principles or area we have to remember. First one is the distributed database or distributed ledger. Okay, the blockchain, in a simple way, you can say it's a kind of distributed ledger, and it is a peer-to-peer network, because all the peers networks are connected together, and we try to make everything as a transparent to the network members, whether it is a private blockchain or public blockchain. All the members of the network will have the complete transparency of what is happening over there. And then immutability of record, the record or the data whichever we store in blockchain, that is a distributed ledger, then it is immutable. That means you can't edit it, you can't change it. And then the computational logic, which is another important, because for what purpose you are using blockchain. The computational logic in terms of your smart contract, we call it. When you come to business blockchain, This computation logic is on the smart contract. Smart contract is, contract will always execute it whenever that or any either of the party is triggering that particular contract, right? For example, if you are signing an contract with that buy seller of the land, you are going to buy a land. Now, if you are a buyer, then you are writing an kind of a contract. Okay, I give advance of 50,000 rupees, and I will be paying the remaining money of 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs on or before this particular date to get that complete ownership of that particular land. Like that, we write a agreement, right? And then the agreement will be implemented based on right, either a seller or buyer will implement it based on who is in need. For example, if that seller is in need, he might be pressuring the buyer, okay, are you ready, you have enough money to do that registration, like that. But at the same time, if the buyer is right, really hurry, then buyer might be pressuring that, right, I'm having enough money, when to have the right registration, like that. It will be triggering, right, asking question to the seller. So the point here is, right, in the normal contract model, either buyer or seller need to trigger, somebody need to trigger that, right? But in the case of smart contract, when the conditions are met correctly, that the contract will trigger automatically. So that is where we call it as a smart contract, which is part of your blockchain. And in the advanced level, this smart contract can be connected with your artificial intelligence, because depends on the situation, depends on the algorithm, you can trigger when to execute that smart contract with your artificial intelligence algorithm. Okay, so let me go to this one, the concept of distributed ledger. What is that means of distributed ledger? So usually whenever we do a business transaction, only that owner of the business transaction will keep the right record in them. For example, whenever, if you take a typical bank, right, if you take any bank for that matter, right, if you are doing an online transactions, you can view only your transaction, definitely. And we 100% trust the bank is secured. We 100% believe that the bank is secured. Otherwise, we can't do that online transaction. But is it really secured? Because when you talk about the internet, then online, then your all those things, so definitely we can't say that all the time the bank is being prone to attack. We can't say that, because anytime anybody can hack and then take it. But still, why we are putting money there? Because we believe that that bank will take care of that, and the bank will ensure that we will get that our money, our amount in the correctly. That is based on that assurance, based on the not assurance, based on the trust only. We are actually putting that money. But if you see, as per the RBI instruction and all, right, I hope you know that, right. Recent time also we have a lot of problem with that. That is, whatever the money you have, at most you will get only 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs from the bank, like that. Earlier, our currencies are connected to your gold. Okay, so now it's a kind of different concepts are there. So if anything, the worst things that happen over there, probably we are not able to get our all money back. So that is a different one. But still, right, people are we trust the bank, and then we put our money into the bank. But actually, the banks are hackable. The banks can be in trouble when some hackers are taking money out of it. Definitely. Right, and we believe that bank won't change any records of our transaction. If the bank is doing any transaction in the back end, we have no idea about that, right? But when you talk about this distributed ledger, the same ledger, whatever that bank has been using, right, that same ledger will be there with all other nodes in the same network. Now we may have a problem, right? You may think how it is going to be secured, whether it's going to be leading problem or not. Definitely, and that is why we are bringing the cryptography. If you talk about the Bitcoin is a similar to your currency, right? So it's a kind of, right, peer-to-peer money transferring one. If you want to transfer money now, we are doing that money transfer with the help of some third party. For example, you need a bank. You need a bank account in order to do the transfer, and then we depends upon Google Pay account or Amazon Pay or Paytm Bank, like that. We have some intermediary are there to make that happen from one person to another person to send the money. If it is a cash, then we'll do it face to face. We'll give the money directly. There is no third party needed, right? If you are giving the cash directly, you can think of like this. If you're giving a cash to somebody in person, you don't need any third party. right? But if you are going to do a transaction in the internet, in through online or through in some mobile device, right, you need a third party, because we can't do the transaction directly, and that intermediary is being removed by the Bitcoin, because you can do a direct transaction to anybody in terms of Bitcoin. So you need to have a new currency, that is your Bitcoin. So we need to convert our money into Bitcoin, and then you can send that Bitcoin to anybody in the Bitcoin network. So in the Bitcoin network, what is happening is, right, all the, right, more than we for example, we have a term, a special term called a miner. Okay, the miner who is in charge of the, right, taking care of the records and all, right. So I'm not getting into too much. So if you are having some 1,000 miners, right, then all miners will have that complete transaction record, and anybody can join the Bitcoin network, and they can download all the transaction happened so far. So from the inception of Bitcoin, all the record you can download, and you can keep it in your machine. So like that, anybody can download. So you can see the transaction what happened from one person to another person. So now you may wonder, right, how then everybody is going behind the blockchain, how it is now, how it is safe and secured, because nobody can edit the data. You can read, you can go through the data, but nobody can edit the data, and it is not possible. And moreover, even though you are able to read all the information, you can't take anything useful information out of it, because completely, right, hash and cryptographies are there. So you may see that by going through the record, you may find some person is having more cryptocurrency, more Bitcoin. For example, imagine that you are going through the record, you identify that one person is having nearly 1 million Bitcoin. You can remember like that, you can imagine like that, just an imagination, right? 1 million, right, Bitcoin somebody have. So you may think then some anybody can go and rob the person, right? Because his money is disclosed, right, completely available. So you can go and right, threaten the person, or you can go to the home, and then you can get that money. You can steal the money from him, right? Even though it is a cryptocurrency, still we can take, right? But the problem here is all the identities are hashed. You are not going to have the actual name and address kind of one. So you'll be having only public key, private key. That is why we talk about cryptography. So you're going to have the combination of public private key combination. So you will be keeping your private key with you, and you'll be giving only your public key to all other people, right? So with the public key, you have no idea. For example, by seeing your email id, is it possible anybody to come to your home? Is it possible to come to your home and to threaten you by seeing only your email ID? So it is not possible, right? The same way in our blockchain, it's it's even though you are able to see everything, but you can't say that who is that person who is owning it. And then even if you're able to track it some level, you can able to go with your IP address. But again, IP address, right, VPN network, right, if it is there, then definitely you may not able to get the right person, right? So identifying or getting the person who is the real owner of that money, it is not possible with the Bitcoin. So but everybody will have the copy, which means what, nobody can cheat or change any record, because you need to get approval from others if you want to change anything on the record officially. So when you have only one record, that person is respond. That person can change anything on that record. But now you have more than one person. So if anybody is changing anything, then others need to be informed. Then others will say validate whether that transaction is correct or not. Then it will happen. So that is why we call it as a distributed ledger. The ledger is copied, replicated, and every member of the network will have the same copy of that ledger, so that nobody can change or edit that information in that particular ledger. Okay. So we have that, right, reconciliation. Usually we have problem, because especially when you're doing money transfer from one country to another country, then reconciliation is the real issue. That also we can address it with the help of our distributed ledger concept, and this is what we are bringing into your blockchain. Okay. So with this, right, no single point of failure, because even one node is failed. For example, if that this node, the person's node has been right out of network, still you have the data with the remaining 4 node. So that business transaction will continue with the remaining 4, which means what, the no single point failure with this model. So nobody can attack a node and then make it fail. For example, if a bank is having only one entry, right, single entry only, right? If that device has been hacked or attacked with a distributed enough service attack, then then the bank may not able to give the service properly, right? So that kind of attack won't do anything with our blockchain model, because you have more than one system running on that network parallelly. Even if you're attacking one machine, right, still you can do the process with the remaining machine. So your applications will always run without any problem 24 by 7, and we have more backup. You're right. So if somebody want to make that network to fail, then all the machines need to be attacked and need to be killed by the different one, so which is not possible. For example, if you take Bitcoin, you may have more than 1,000 nodes will be there in the network at any point of time. Attacking all 1,000 nodes and then making fail of all 1,000 nodes, which is real difficult. That is where the strength of blockchain resides. So these are the different types of blockchain. You will be talking about these things in depth in upcoming sessions. So the public means anybody can join, and there is no whenever we say write a blockchain, there is no centralized control always, and anybody can join, and you'll be having the consensus mechanism called the proof of work. If time permits, I'll explain it because some of you are new to this blockchain. So anybody can join, anybody can do transaction, anybody can download record. There is no restriction. Okay, there is nobody there to verify who you are, kind of model. But in the case of permission, right, you'll be having a validator or kind of a gatekeeper kind of model will be there. So it's like if you are going to enter any private property, then you will be checked. For example, if you take your college, right, not everybody can enter into college just like that, right? You will be having a gate and you have a security guard who will be checking whether you are a valid person or not, to allow to enter into the campus or not. Similarly, you will be having system in place. So that permission, you have to get a permission to get into that one. Once you got that one, then you can enter into that network, and then you can do your transaction. You can take part in the consensus or other things you can do. So the permissionless and permission, the difference is usually this is permission is for mostly for business. You can go with this model business because you need a kind of a restriction needed in order to do the permission to the business, right? But in the case of your public blockchain, you don't need any permission. So if you are going to do any business like a B2C, business to consumer, business to customer, that kind of model you can bring into the permissionless, right, without permission. So in the permissionless, what is the problem is if you forget your private key, if you forget your private key, then that's all your money gone. You can't get it back. In our bank network, if you forgot your password, if you forgot your pin, then you can reach the bank and then you can get your keys back, right? So which is not possible in your public blockchain, because there is no gatekeeper, there is no central authority, there is no one to ensure the information. So if you, when you join, you will get a private public key combinations to do the transaction and everything. If you forget your private key, that is your password, right? If you forget it, then it is right, not at all possible to bring back you all your money into that one. That is the one of the major drawback with your public blockchain. So you have to be careful with the key. If you forget, then that's all. Nobody can take money from that. Even you can't take the money because there is no one there to ensure that right, it's your account and to take that Bitcoin out of it, for example. And also, right, we have this blockchain as service now because of that cloud and all are providing their own blockchain platform as a service. We can take that also. Okay, so when we come to the interface blockchain, Hyperledger is very important leading project on blockchain, interface blockchain. Then Coda is mostly for financial. Whenever you are going to focus only on financial part of your blockchain, there is private blockchain or enterprise level blockchain, then we can go to Coda. And Ripple is also as a kind of right currency, alternate to your Bitcoin, and which is much faster and scalable kind of one, and which is part of your enterprise blockchain. Okay. So hope you got some information. Let me go to next question. Ready for it? Let me check. Is there any questions? Google Play is a kind of permission blockchain. No, Professor Sindhuja, it is not actually. So Google Play is not a permission blockchain. Google Play is a system. It's like a client server because Google is only responsible on maintaining that Google Play Store. Right? Nobody can have the control to maintain that Google Play. You can upload, you can take the app, that is fine. But still, who is controlling? Who is maintaining all those things? Still, Google is maintaining, right? So it is not a blockchain model. The blockchain model, you don't have any third party to maintain it. The system will manage itself. You don't need a third party to manage it. Okay, that is where we call it as a blockchain, proper blockchain model. I hope I answered the question, Professor Sindhuja. So let me go to next question. Okay, so two people got it correct. So when you say that, right, asset, you may have some confusion on this particular part. So asset means, right, anything is having value, right? For example, we have tangible and intangible assets. We hope you know that. So when you have your house and all, right, it's a kind of an tangible, you have a look and feel, right? We can touch and feel. So intangible kind of one, we don't have that touch and feel kind of one. For example, your patent and all, you have no touch and feel, right? You will have patent, that's it. And even if you take Bitcoin, you can't touch anything, right? Kind of completely, right? Your knowledge, all these things are comes under that particular part. So our cash, the currency is kind of asset, but it's completely anonymous. How it is anonymous is, if you are having right, suppose imagine that you take 500 rupees from your wallet, 500 rupees from your wallet. Is it possible for you to tell that before that 500 rupees reaching your wallet, who are the people who owned that particular 500 rupees? Can you track it down? Can you say that? Is there any system there in right now to tell you that who are the other people who owned this 500 before it is coming to you? Is there any system there? Definitely no. We have no system in that way, right? So if you are having a 2,000 rupees or 500 rupees note, that note, if it is a newly very fresh note, then probably we know it's directly coming from the right a bank, right after printing it. We can tell that easily. But if it is an old note, right, it is too difficult to say that who are the people who owned or how many people owned that note before it is coming to your hand. That is what we call it as anonymous. So when you say this anonymous, we don't know who are the people, right? Suppose imagine if there is a system in place to say that who are the people are currently owning which currency kind of system is there, then definitely that system will help a lot to remove the black money completely, because it will tell you that, right, who are the people who are owning that currency. But it is a kind of a violation of privacy, because you can able to see easily who are the people are having how much money, like that we can able to track it easily. So that is where the privacy is comes into picture. We are not ready to disclose that to everybody. We are ready to disclose to government, but not to all the people. Yeah, that will create a lot of problem, right, in terms of security, right? That is where your public blockchain comes with anonymous network, anonymity. You will able to track all the information, but nobody know who is that person. So to avoid that problem only, we have the right anonymity right in your blockchain, public blockchain, and the example is your Bitcoin network. But here that asset, right, usually whenever you are taking a ledger, when you are writing a transaction, the ledger we are always going to talk about transfer of asset. The ledger is always going to keep track of who is owning what. right? That is where you are keeping a lot of different ledger, but we name it differently. For example, if you are having your bike, definitely you will have a RC book, right? So if currently you are the owner, suppose if you are selling that to somebody else, then you have to change the ownership to the other person, right? Now the change of ownership will be there, and now the ledger will be updated who is the new owner. Like that, if you take any asset, right, which will be transferred for some for money or some to get service, that's we call it asset. So in blockchain you can put whatever you want in the block, and the block is that information you are going to keep it over there. So anything of value to the participant in a business network can be put into a block, and which will added into the blockchain. Okay, so that is the answer for this one. If you have any questions on this, you can ask in the chat window. Otherwise, I'll go to the next one. So here the meaning of, right, the best descripts an asset that can be stored on a blockchain. Your blockchain itself a ledger. Your blockchain is nothing but a distributed ledger. So that is not the right answer. Okay, and your next, what is the next one? A participant of business transaction. So asset is a right, or the value, right? For that only you're doing transaction. If you go to a car showroom, then car is asset. If you go to some professor and you are buying the patent, now the patent is asset, right? So like that, which is exchangeable for some value, some service, some currency or some money, right? We call it as an asset. Hope it is clear, Professor. Professor Savita. Let me go to next one. So when you talk about this blockchain, right? I'll give you that picture, right? If suppose some of you might still have a confusion how that blockchain is going to be the right trend setter. Why some people might say blockchain is given too much importance or highly rated kind of one, but it is not. But it is not highly rated. It is actually that kind of impact is possible. So let me give you a practical example to understand how the blockchain can change it. Okay, to make it for easy to understand. Okay, we'll take. We'll think of, right. You are having your two-wheeler. You are having a two-wheeler. Could be any brand. Okay, whatever you want, you can make it as it. And you parked your two-wheeler outside of your home, and you locked it. Then you went to sleep. That is your regular routine. Okay, and one day morning you come and morning you come out and see that your bike was stolen. Okay, you can think of a situation like that. Your bike was stolen. Now, what are the things you will do? You have to do after this incident. You can list down in your chat window. You can list down if you when you see that your bike is being stolen. What are the things we usually do, or you have to do mandatory? So that you can list down. Let me tell you that picture where how that blockchain will change it. You can type chat window. Okay, so once you saw that your bike was stolen, and what are the things you have to do after that? You can type anything, right? If you have no idea, you can say something like, right? Okay, so Professor Savita mentioned is a report to police. Yes, if possible, check camera. Yes, if you have a camera, you will be checking that is there any person are known to you or somebody you can able to give some solid evidence, facial recognition. Then you can give it to the police so that you can able to capture the culprit, right? Which you can do it, right? Definitely. Professor Singh Yadav is asking about Anurag Singh Yadav is asking about attendance. Fine. Ask the neighbor for clues. Definitely, we'll ask about neighbor. Did you saw that or anybody take it? We'll ask our neighbors, and definitely, if somebody is having that bike, and then you might take it and roam around nearby to see is there anybody is taken just now, so that you can able to capture him red in hand, right? So that also we try to do. Yeah, we'll inquire. We'll do some kind of inquiry, and then we'll try to do our own right checking up locally, and then after that we'll go to police. Right? We'll either you call the police or you go to the police station. It is up to you. Now, what are the remaining things are there? That is what you got to think of. Suppose if you are going to police station, you need to give an FIR. because FIR is very, very important for the further process, right? So, so when you go to police station, depends on the inspector, right? Genuinity, you will be getting that FIR immediately, right? Otherwise, it's a problem. So, what is that problem is? If your inspector is corrupted, or he might be looking for some bribe, then you have to give money, otherwise he may not write the FIR. All right. So that is one problem we have in our current system, right? Not everybody, but some inspectors are there in that case, or the constables or somebody will be there, and that is also kind of a nightmare for most of the people to go to the approach the police station. So sometime we'll call 100. I think I don't know the other state. If you are all are from Tamil Nadu, we have a right a number you can call, dial the number. If you are connected through that one, most of the time you will be getting that respond immediately than going to the police station in many cases. Okay, but still you have to get the FIR, because if you want to proceed further, the FIR is important. For example, you have so not example, it's very important. That is, you have to inform the your insurance agent about that incident. Otherwise, you may not get that insurance money. So some insurance agents are saying that you have to inform within 2 days. Okay, if your bike was stolen, then you got to inform them right within 2 days. Whether you have a FIR or not, at least you got to inform them. But definitely you got to give the FIR to proceed further. If there is no FIR, they won't take it further, right? And also you have to give 2 keys of your bike, so then only they will take it as a stolen. Otherwise, it is your mistake that you forgot your key in that right in that two-wheeler, and it is your mistake. Okay, so they will ask all these things, and then you got to inform the RTO office, right? That is your bike was stolen. Otherwise, if there is any other crime happen in some other place, then you will be arrested for that crime. So you need to inform that RTO office that your bike was stolen, and then you got to attach the copy of the FIR, and you got to tell that to stop that number or vehicle. So these things are important. But if you see that, right, if even if you are taking this way, if all are good people, right, you are going to police station, you are going to insurance agent and RTO, all are very good people, everybody is following process, but still you have to, right, go to the office personally, and you got to spend time. At least you need 2 or 3 working days, you got to take leave, or at least OD you got to take to complete all these issues. So true or not, in the current situation, you need at least minimum 2 or 3 days to complete all this part, right? Definitely, yes, you need to go with all this part. So anything I'm missing here? If I missed anything, you can notify me, right? I hope these are things we do, right? So we need to go to police station to get the FIR. Once you get the FIR, we got to give the copy to the right insurance agent. We got to copy to the RTO office. All those things are there. So now, right, the police station, they'll ask about insurance. If you don't have the insurance for your vehicle, they won't take the complaint. Right, they won't take the complaint. They will try to reject it. Okay, if there is an insurance, then they will try to give the FIR for your incident. So the police station will write having the record separately, and your insurance agent having the record separately, and RTO is having a record separately. So the police will want to ensure whether it's your bike or not. For that, if you have a RC book original, you can show them this is my right vehicle. You can give the RC book. So now they have to ensure whether the RC book is original or not, it's a duplicate, because its document can be forged. So they need to ensure whether that he is an actual owner or not, and you have to give the your insurance certificate, so that you will check whether you have the active insurance for the vehicle or not. And we based on that only, he will be giving that FIR. That police station will get the FIR. Then you have to take the FIR to the right your insurance agent. Again, insurance agent will also ask for the RC, and then your FIR copy need to be there. If you go to RTO office, again they will have the other 2 copies. So if you see this, right, for the entire event, you need only these 3 documents: FIR, and then your RC, and then your right insurance number. But these are what multiple copies, multiple things, and everybody is having their own record. So it is taking a lot of days for them to process manually, and then you have to go to some of these office physically. You have to travel to them and you have to submit this record. But when we have this blockchain, right, if all these are connected in a blockchain, for example, it's a government network kind of blockchain, and you have your police station connected, you have all the citizens are connected, and then your right RTO office, and then your insurance agents all are connected. Imagine that. Now, when you see that your car is being stolen, now your bike is stolen, then you can inform your police station through your app itself, because when you are doing that, immediately that blockchain network will check with others, right, whether you have a citizenship with the other number, what is the other number that is residing in that location or not, and then your corresponding insurance number, and everything will be tracked, and immediately will be notified to the RTO office through police station. Once that FIR has been made, and then that police station, they will update that FIR has been made, and that will be updated in the RTO's office as well as your insurance agent. So the entire thing will happen smoothly, right, within right, we don't take more than one day. It will complete everything within a day, and you don't need to travel anywhere physically. Okay, and the datas are there with all the department, and now they are communicating each other through this channel, and you are able to validating whether it is a valid record or not, because your handwritten document, your printed document can be forged, but in blockchain you can't forge any data or any record, because which is not possible. So if any record has been taken out of this one, then everybody knows, okay, it's a valid one. And that is where the blockchain is the actual power, right? You are going to reduce the transaction time, right, which is happening between different parties. So the blockchain usually comes in picture when you are having business transaction with more than one party. Like your supply chain network, you have more people are there in the network, right? So all are connected to one chain, so you can able to see that each and every transactions easily, and that is where the blockchain comes into picture. Hope you got some clarity on it. So in this part, your information, right, everything was decentralized, because your ledgers are having decentralized, and your computation, everything is distributed. Then we have a cryptography in place to protect everything, so that nobody can tamper or nobody can edit and see what is happening over there. So the complete high level cryptography algorithms are involved. And then most importantly, consensus. Consensus is, right, whenever you are going to update one record in a, for example, when a police station, right, you are going to update a record that is your bike was stolen, then others need to agree, others need to approve on it. So you have other validator who will check, who will verify, and then based on that they will approve it. So the consensus is nothing but, right, you are getting the approval from others whether it's valid transaction or not, if others are agreed. So if you take your Bitcoin, we call it as a 51% consensus. 51%, that is, if you have 100 people, 100 nodes are in the network currently, right, whenever you do a transaction, that should be approved by at least 51%, which means what, 51 people in the network need to approve it. Then only it will be added into the block, which means what, the hacker can hack one or two machine, but out of 100 they have to hack 51 machines to make a forge entry into that block, which is usually right, too difficult, or the hacker need to spend more money, more energy. So output of that energy, money, it is not going to be that much easy for them. That is where the blockchain is kind of a secure, or more strength than the normal system. So right, we call it as a, we have a story, right, in our olden days, right, in our, when you're studying in school days, you may have studied a lot of moral stories. So one story is, right, 5 cows fighting against a lion. So the lion, it attacks each cow separately, but when the cows are being joined, united, it can't attack, right? The same way, when you have a single machine, then can be attacked, but now all the machines are connected to each other, they are connected to each other, which means now attacking is too difficult, or it is not that much easy to penetrate and to steal, or to change the records. So these are our, you can go through this one, right? So whenever we working on the blockchain, these are the basic concepts you have to remember. Okay. So any questions if you have, you can ask me in the chat window. Otherwise, we'll go to the quiz question. Any questions with this? Okay, let me go to next question. Sorry. Okay, so only one person got it correct. Okay, fine. I think you may have some kind of condition over there. And I think four people got proof of work will come into picture only when you have a consensus. Consensus mean agree upon others, right? So that is we call it proof of work. Whether it's valid or not valid, whether we can add it or not, that checking will be there with other nodes. That is where we have the proof of work. So proof of work is not the right answer. And transaction anonymity, nobody is selected. Okay, good. And cryptocurrency, one person selected. So sorry, cryptocurrency, two people selected. So cryptocurrency, again, we won't use cryptocurrency in private blockchain. Whenever we say currency, which is kind of an a B2C, business to consumer kind of model, or C2C, customer to customer model, you can take it this way. So when we because we have providing provision to all the people to participate and share that transfer the money. Sorry, transfer the money. So in that case, so the whenever we talk about cryptocurrency, it is a public blockchain, right? It is too difficult, or usually we won't go for a cryptocurrency for a private blockchain. Very rarely, in some occasion, but most 99% we will go with public blockchain for cryptocurrency. Okay, and why that participant identity is important is because you are permitting based on some identity, right? Because a private blockchain, not everybody's can join. The private blockchain is kind of a premise you have. So if you are going to enter the network, you got to show something. You got to show your identity. You got to prove yourself. Then only you'll be allowed to enter that private blockchain, right? So the identity is important. If your identity is not there, then you will not be given permission to enter. That is why I given the example of our college gate, right? Your watchman will be there, will be checking the ID card, then we'll allow that, right? The same way in private blockchain, that important thing is what? Your identity. If your identity is not there, then you can't able to enter. And that is where in private blockchain, you need a privacy is important, privacy, because everybody knows who is that person. Your identity is revealed. You can't hide your identity in your private blockchain. So you need privacy. In the public blockchain, there is no privacy because anybody can see any data and all the data can be visible to anyone. So we can't have a privacy in public blockchain, but to avoid that problem, we have anonymity. That is where the anonymity is important in your public blockchain. So since anonymous there, we don't know who did the transaction. We know what is the transaction. We know what is that value, how much money transferred. We know that, but we don't know who is that person. So that is where anonymity is maintained in your public blockchain. So it's a kind of an relationship. So you got to remember this whenever you are going to get into this research. So public blockchain, you may have to think different dimension. Private blockchain, you have to think differently. But the underlying concept is same. Underlying concept, what is that? So you have a distributed ledger and multiple copies of the same ledger, and you need to get approval from others to add anything into the ledger. Okay. So we have a same changes in that board. So this is the concept in our blockchain. You can put anything, whatever you want in a block. Block is nothing but you can imagine of your linked list, right? Your structure where you are going to put anything into that one. So a block contains data. You can put anything, any value or anything, whatever you want, you can keep it in the block. But you have to decide what you are going to keep it in the block. And that, if you remember the linked list concept, same way, you are going to linking that blocks one by one with this one. And the hash of this block, the hash of this block will be added to the next block as well. So in the block header of next one, the hash of the previous block will be added. So this entire thing, right? This entire hash, the block hash, will be added here. So hashing is like your thumb, right? Your fingerprint kind of one. We call it a digital fingerprint. The hashing is known as what? Digital fingerprint of your data. So because of that, if somebody right traveling in history, and if you are changing this particular block, now the entire hash will be changed. The entire hash of the block will be changed, which will informing that this block also wrong. So you have to change all the blocks after that. So that is where changing the block, it's difficult in a right going in history, and changing the data is very costly in blockchain model. And whenever you are adding a new block, you need to get consensus from others. So all other nodes, right? Everybody need to agree upon this is a valid block. We can attach to the exist. Then only that block will be added to that existing ledger. So every node in the network will add the new block into their ledger. So the consensus is very important. After that only the block is going to be added. Okay. So this is that important concept. But anyway, I think in upcoming session you'll be talking about each things in depth. What you can store and what is that. In what are the when are the right that execution of block will be executed. Because in Bitcoin every 10 minutes you got to add a block. Every 10 minutes a block will be added. If you come to Ethereum, every 2 minutes the block will be added. Right. So like that, each model is having its own way of adding the blocks, and the consensus algorithms are having different consensus algorithm out there. So those are your important research area. So go to the next question. Okay, only 2 people got it correct. Okay, 6 people got it as broadcast and verification of transaction. And see, I think you missed it. Right, once the transaction is over, the transaction need to be put into the block. So in any public blockchain, once the transaction is over, the transaction will be verified, validated, and then it will be added into the block. Then after that the block will be have a consensus algorithm check with others. Then that block will be added to the new chain. Then only your transaction is recorded, finally recorded in the ledger. So your ending is actually adding a new block to the chain. So if you take your Bitcoin, whenever you do a transaction, that will be broadcasted and be validated and then added to the mempool. That is a concept called mempool. So your transaction will be added into mempool, and from the mempool, the miners will pick the transactions one by one and they'll put it into the block. After that only the block will be created with that approval of other miners in the network. So so the actual answer is what? Adding a new block to the chain. Even creation of new block won't. After creating a new block, you have to publish it on the network. You have to broadcast in the network. Then other nodes will check whether it is a valid block or not. If it is valid, they will approve it. Once we get a 51% approval in the Bitcoin model, then that block will be added to the existing chain. Okay, so that is the right answer. I hope this will change the screen. Okay, fine. Now let me go to the next part. So in the business blockchain, when you come to private blockchain, these are the important one. Your shared ledger, because all the business entities are going to have a look at the shared ledger, and you'll have a smart contract that is automatically executing the transactions. When the right conditions met there, then it will be automatically executed. So when you're talking about enterprise blockchain or private blockchain, these are important. So and then privacy is important, because private blockchain, we have your identity is revealed. Everybody knows who are the person. So you have to bring the privacy. Otherwise, then you will be exploited much easily. So that's the important part. Then this is relying. This is what when you are bringing the privacy correctly, this leads to trust. Your correct execution of smart contract, and then keeping the right information in the ledger. All things are making us to have this trust on the system, trust on the model, trust with the business, or anything. What do you say? So the trust is not on the third party. So here the trust is not on the third party. The trust is on the algorithm or code. So that is where we have the term called a code is law. In right? In your enterprise blockchain, we call it as a code's law, because everything is written in a code. So you can't escape from the law, right? The same way, you can't do anything out of the code. So a code is law, whatever written, that is going to happen. You can't change it. So that is your enterprise blockchain. Okay. So this is some basics you have to remember, and because of this, we in the real-time situation, we are able to bring a lot of changes. Now we have, if you search in internet, almost in all the area you have blockchain. For example, DBS, right? They are having their own blockchain network to see whether diamonds are mined properly, because one of the major problem in Africa is right, mining is what, illegal. There are many people are illegally mining the diamond, and they spend they sell it in the black market, and the money they collect is mostly used for the terrorist, right, or terrorism. So so almost 90, more than 90% of the money is spent on the terrorism. So to stop that, the DBAs, they have a network, blockchain network, right? We know in diamond there is a way to write down the identification node per node, like that you can write down, but still there is no system to track it on where it is origin, the provenance, where it came. So from which mining, from where you got that one, there is no system in place. So the DBS, they have their own blockchain platform to track it down where that diamond come from. Like that, the Dubai, right, smart Dubai, they are planning to have a smart Dubai, right, with completely e-governance based on blockchain. So all that one, and they're converting everything into blockchain based governance. So nobody can change the data, everything is there, and faking or duplicating data will be like a lot of small countries, they already started working on that smart e-governance based on blockchain. Okay, and you can see that these are the important point which we discussed already, and because of that, almost if you take any domain, anything, already we have a system in place. If you go to a medical, if you that is now we have the problem in India is even though we spend money to do a lot of scans and everything, the doctors, right, the hospital not giving all the records to you. Many hospital, they won't give all the information, they will keep it in their one. So if you want to have a second opinion, then you got to go to another hospital again, you may have to take all the scan and everything once again. But when we have this blockchain based record, you will be having the complete control. Then right, you will be giving access to the hospital to take your record, to take your information to further treatment, because that hospital treatment records are completely private, because based on the medicines subscribed to you, they can do the reverse engineering what disease you might be having it, the reverse engineering model. So in the last 5 years, 10 years, what are the medication you have gone through? From that, you can do a reverse engineering. What are the illness you had? What are the problem you have right now? So what is this going to be? If somebody is want to right or do something with your health, they can mess up with your medicines easily. So all these things are trying to secure through your blockchain model. Okay. And now when you have this 5G and IoT, these two are going to be an adding value to the blockchain also, and the blockchain also adding value to IoT. For example, if you take our supply chain model, when you are transferring a food item from one place to another place, right, the record that the person who is doing a transferring will can make a 4G record that I maintained this much temperature throughout the journey, like that they can easily fake it. For example, you are having an item which need to be maintained with right a minus 5 degrees Celsius. You need to maintain that throughout the transmission, right from one place to the transport from one place to another place. You can imagine like that. You have some item, that item need to be kept in minus 5 degrees Celsius. Okay, and that the seller will say that, right, yes, I maintain it throughout that transport, like that they write. But how will you ensure it? How will you ensure that it has been really right maintained in 5 degrees Celsius? In that case, we can place IoT devices in your containers or in that one, and we can able to get that data. The data will be kept in the blockchain, so nobody can edit the data, because once the data is coming into the blockchain, nobody can edit it. So the sensors data are going to fit into the blockchain network. It will be kept in the ledger, and then when in doubt, right, when there is a problem doubt, you can go back and check whether that transport agency maintained the -5 degrees Celsius throughout the journey or not by checking the sensor data which is stored in your blockchain. So nobody can edit it, right? So like that, the IoT devices or the sensors are playing much more role in the supply chain network. Same way, you can bring this IoT devices connected to a blockchain for a better understanding, right? And the same way, reverse, your blockchains can also used on the IoT to secure it. That we'll discuss in one. And 5G is for right a complete connectivity, right? Your bandwidth more means then your transaction everything will happen much faster, and then we can ensure that a smooth right the higher bandwidth or extreme bandwidth is possible. Hello, is there any question? Somebody unmuted. So the important part in this case is just a minute. Important part here is just a minute. I have so when you come to 5G, right, this is the complete transmission, right? Completely, we are going to get into the new area. So we expect by 2030, almost everybody, every industry, almost every place, most of the country will have full-fledged 5G model, and which is going to do a lot of change in that, because you're going to have a extreme broadband and IoT connectivity is going to be enabled much more, and your 5G, right, NR and your narrow band, right? All those things are going to be something different with the 5G, and that is where now the recent time many company are investing a lot of money on R&D in both your IoT and your right blockchain. They try to make it more easy. For example, if you take your insurance, in insurance in America and all, right, they do not have, they have a different insurance policy, not like in India. In India, right, we are having insurance, but we never know that who is the beneficiary of that insurance. So if you are right, we are having third party insurance, so you have insurance, who is going to be benefited, right? If the driver or the other person or the we have no idea, but still we go in to take the insurance. Many people take insurance without having that knowledge who is going to get benefit of the particular insurance, right? But in America, right, the different one, because they are not ready to pay that money just like that. They say, right, if I'm not going to use my car most of the time, why I have to pay the insurance? For example, during your winter and all, you can't take your right vehicle on road. Many people are afraid of taking their vehicle on road. So in that case, they say, right, oh, I'm not going to use that car in all 365 days, then why I have to pay the full insurance? So where the new model is kind of correct, pay per use. So if you are using it, then based on that you can able to pay it. That is kilometer, how many kilometer used, and based on that you'll be able to get that insurance premium. You'll be paying it. And also they added, right, if you are a good driver, then they will ask you to pay less premium. If you are a fast driver, or if you are a right danger yourself, or you do a rush driving or a rash driving, then they will ask you to pay more insurance money, right? How they are assuming it, but with the IoT sensor, they are keeping IoT sensor in the car, and to see that the habit of the driver, what is the habit of the driver, because in US and all, you can't give the car to somebody to drive it, because there is if you are a owner of the car, you got to drive it. That's how kind of and America. So in that case, when you are riding your right car, that pattern, or we have a business intelligence over there, that is your big data analytics, right? What is your when usually you take your car out of your home, and how long you travel, and then what is the speed, average speed you maintain, and right, your IoT devices will give all that information, your tire quality, all those things, everything is captured. Based on that, they say that whether you are a good driver or a bad driver. If you are a good driver, then you have to pay less premium. So it is indirectly we are giving that a good habit among the driver, because if I'm having my car, if I'm behave correctly in the road, then I have to pay less money for premium. So naturally, it's indirectly, right, your psychology, right, is been coming over there to affect your behavior in road. So you will be coming down naturally your normal road, you don't rush, you don't do the harsh driving, so that you will be able to get that extra right savings on that particular premium. Like that, many things are been changing slowly based on IoT. We have in the industry we have a new concept called smart space, right? Smart cement. All these are based on the IoT devices, right? Whether that building is strength or not, right? How long it will be there? All these things we can able to the real time data. The real time data we can process for the vehicle analytics, and then to secure the devices we can use blockchain for some level. Okay. So hope I connected all these things to you in the right way. Where why we are saying that this is going to be a big opportunity for all those places to focus more on IoT and blockchain. So let me take that next question. So you have 10 seconds only. Answer it quickly. So I think you missed it, right? We have this, right? I was showing this, right? We have the answer, right? Extreme broadband. Okay. So fine. Anyway, I think there will be no change in your table then. Fine. So let me go to the next part. So the 5G is all about, right, connecting with all the devices. You can go and you can see this, right. The important thing is you will have that the technology is trying to connect with your right, both the private cloud and the public cloud. All those things you are having common one, and also try to support your edge DC edge site, cell site, and we try to have your 5G core network, which we try to support all these things. So the 5G is going to revolutionize a lot of communication pattern, especially this video based conference are going to be going to make it into a new area, new level. Because of this bandwidth, but still, right, there are people talking about negative points of 5G. That is also trying to address separately to reduce that problem or issues with that particular part. But when you come to right standards, we have a 3GPP is the right consortium, inside the consortium is involved in defining the standards for 5G. So they are updating it, revising it based on that particular part. Okay, so we believe strongly from the industry perspective, if this continues, right, if this particular part continues, we see that a lot of upcoming changes in almost all the division of industry, right, and everywhere we'll be having, especially the concept called digital twin. I hope, I don't know how many of you know that digital twin. Now this pandemic situation, many companies to spend more on that particular concept, digital twin, because if you see the pandemic one, the industry affected is mechanical industry. Wherever we need a physical presence to operate a machinery, those industry been down because of this pandemic. Now they're coming with that concept digital twin, so that you can operate that machine remotely. You don't need to be sit there nearby that machine. You can operate from the remotely. You will be having that digital twin is you'll be having a physical asset, physical machine. The same thing is being replicated in a digital format. So the entire replica will be there. So whatever you do in the digital version of which you'll be having a laptop or tab, which you whatever you do, that will be happening on that side. So or you can do the diagnosis of that particular instrument. You can analyze, right, your all these kind of things you can do through the digital twin. For that we need a good bandwidth of internet, all those things. So like a lot of things are there behind. This will change the way we do business in the upcoming one. So let me go to the last question. Again, you have 20 seconds only to answer. Okay, so all of you got it correct. So appreciate you, right? All of you got it correct one. So we'll see that final podium. Okay, Professor Ponni is on third place. Professor Anbu on second place. Okay, so Professor Lada on the first place. I appreciate all the professors, those who are attended and taken this one. So let me do a finishing touch of this presentation. So we believe that this 5G will do a lot of changes in that one. So when you come back to this the blockchain based, the important area what we have is important related to your IoT part, where we feel that the blockchain is needed is this particular part. So when you have that infrastructure, critical infrastructure, or your IoTs are connected, and if that critical infrastructure not secured, and most of you, if you see some of the Hollywood movies, they talk about this attacking all critical infrastructure at the same time. So you would have seen that a lot of Hollywood movies talking about that part. So the right now the problem is not having a proper protection or security systems to protect the critical infrastructure. So to provide that, we can use a blockchain, the identity-based blockchain, so that nobody can pretend that that is a person, actual person, or nobody can cheat the system and to get into the system to activate that or shut down that critical infrastructure. So for that, we have that blockchain, and then specifically for securing devices, IoT devices, we can go with our blockchain. So you can see from the recent trend, the research, 70% of IoT devices are vulnerable to hacking. And if it has been hacked, then your IoT device can be weapon for others to attack or to jeopardize your data, all those things, like your botnet. Suppose if your IoT's device somewhat sophisticated, you can make attack from your device. The attack can be generated from your device itself. That is also another kind of problem. So depends on what kind of on the board, on the device, the chipset. Based on that, they have a different things are possible. So that is the real trouble. So how we can do this is with the help of your a blockchain. I'm just giving an a possible use case how we can do this, with your identity. We have a decentralized identity. We call it as a blockchain used for identity, decentralized system, which will use it to verify whether that IoT endpoint is the original one or valid one or not, because we can't give any protection inside the device. So only the way it interacts, the way it joins the IoT device hub, where we can give the protection. So we can ensure that that particular device is not hacked, or that the device is not a botnet. Like that, we can ensure with this particular model. So the idea is you'll be having a credential issuer, which means each IoT device will have a private public key combination. So that will be issued by the credential issuer. So we'll have a separate authority, a certificate authority, only for the device management. Hope you know, right? I said that the implementation problem is one of these device management. So this device management team, they will be having a CA. So the public private key will be assigned to each devices, and then the IoT endpoints will make a request to join IoT hub, and that will be verified with your decentralized system to see whether it is a valid a device or not, whether it is a corrupted with your property, all the property, everything will be hashed. With that, we are verifying that whether that is the right one or not. Then we are allowing that to join that IoT hub, that IoT device group, which will be start sending the data. Then after that only, the device data will be accepted by the system to be stored. If that any IoT devices joins their IoT hub, but not part of the not having the credential, if trying to send any data, then that system we have in place which won't accept it, so that we can able to say that all the devices in the IoT hub are authorized one, it is not unauthorized one. So that is I'm just giving a one use case for you to get a picture of where we are trying to bring this blockchain concept from the identity part, because once the data is there, nobody can corrupt the data. So that IoT device is going to keep on send the data. We are going to store the data somewhere. Data is going to be permanent. But we need to say whether the right device is sending the data or not. To check the right device or not, we have this the CA, your certificate authority, and that will be kept in your decentralized system. Then we will cross verify whether it is a valid one or not. Then we give the permissions for that device to join the hub. After that only, that sensor, so whatever the data has been sent by the IoT endpoints will be accepted. Okay. So you hope you got some basic concepts how we are designing it. I think in upcoming one, we'll be talking about a lot more points as well in this part. So right now we are in actually the third one, blockchain 3.0. That is where we are currently working. And for IoT, this is one of the cases which we are trying to address in blockchain 3.0, other than other supply chain area. So your insurance, healthcare, retail, telecom, right, manufacturing, a lot of industries going to be having a new one, and especially the IoT is one important part of your blockchain 3.0. Okay, and this is we have a called right IOTA. I hope some of you know this. IOTA is focusing on this IoT related what. Okay, but even IOTA having some issues right now. They have some vulnerabilities are there that they are trying to address it. But IOTA is not exactly a blockchain. It is not exactly a blockchain. They are trying to increase the number of transaction by having a different model. So related to blockchain, but not exactly a blockchain. So that also you can have a look at it. So one of the important problem is right identity. Okay, that is where the IoT device real problem. This is one of the famous cartoon in 1993. Okay, so it's like two dogs are sitting and one dog is doing the chatting in the internet and is telling that right on the internet nobody knows you are a dog. Okay, is it possible to say no? We can. That is where we have the right online bully, right? Trolls are there. Then we have no idea who is that person, right? Whether it's actually a guy or a girl, we have no idea. Whether it's a bot or something, we have no idea, right? So because of that IP, right, your protocol, IP protocol, right, which is designed to identify only the devices in the network. The IP device TCP/IP protocol, right? That IP protocol stack, it is designed to identify only the devices in the network, not the human being. So that is a real problem we have in that online. So we have no idea who is the right person, wrong person, or somebody is pretending other person, right? That can be solved by addressing the identity issue. That is where we have that blockchain identity platform. If you want to more, you can focus on Hyperledger Indy, Hyperledger Arsha. These are some protocols focusing on that part. So if you are applying that, suppose if you imagine that if the entire internet is running on blockchain, nobody can cheat or nobody can pretend someone else, because your identity is there. Everybody knows that you are that person, right? That is that the cartoon I want to share with you. So I am stopping here. I think I already took some more time. So I'm stopping here. If you have any questions, any doubt, you can let me know. If you want no more, probably you can take a.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, there's a
Yes,
question
Professor.
in chat box, sir.
Yeah, just a minute. I'll be
Okay,
sharing
sir.
that one. Yeah, this is IOTA. You can have a look at it later also, right? This is related to your IoT. Okay. This also you can have a look at it. Okay, it's a graphical, right? You are directed acyclic graphic. If you are strong in algorithm data structure, especially graph algorithms, then you will understand this DAG easily, right? That is based on the graphical format. Sorry, graph model. Okay, so you can have a look at it IOTA if you want to get more on this particular part. So let me have a look at the question chat box. Digital signature and digital certificate. Digital certificate is a kind of an right one side or one side only. Digital signature is kind of an dual transaction. Like if you right take it out, you'll be having a private key and a public key. Okay, so whenever you want to broadcast. Hmm. Whenever you want to broadcast something, right, then you'll be using a different model. Whenever you want to send to the right person, for example, if you are want to send to another person in the network and you want to use a digital signature concept, in that case what will happen is you will be taking your text and then you will be using right your you will be using your private key to secure that particular message, and then you will send it to the receiver. Now the receiver to see that whether it's coming from the right person or not. Suppose you are sending, right? So if somebody else is pretending you, and if they are sending the message, then what will happen is other person will be using your public key to unlock it, and you only know your private key. In that case, if somebody is pretending you, and then they may not have your private key, so they will be using some other key and then will send it to you. In that case, the public key which is assigned to you will not be work for that one. So like that, the receiver will ensure that it is the receive is the message is coming from the right person or not. So you'll be using your private key and then you'll be sending it to the receiver. The receiver will receive it, and the receiver will know about your public key. So you'll be using the public key, right? They can see the actual message. Suppose if you are broadcasting, in that case, right, what you have to do is, right, the same model. You will be using your private key, and then you'll be broadcasting that in the network. All the people in the network, they know about your right public key. They know about your public key, so they can unlock that message. Suppose imagine that you want to send a message only to that one person. You want to send a message to only one person. Now what you have to do is, you'll be taking the message and you'll be encrypting it with the public key of the receiver. You'll be encrypting the message with the public key of the receiver. Okay. So and then you'll be sending it to the receiver. Now the receiver will uses his private key to unlock that particular message. Now what will happen is, you are very much sure that only that receiver, right, intended receiver only got that message. That is where you have the digital signature. The digital certificate is something like, right, you will be sign the document, and that will be validated by the certificate authority, CA. So right, if you are signing it digitally, which means some algorithm in place which with your CA certificate authority, and then we will be sending it to the receiver, and the receiver takes it, and right, the digital signature and certificate ensures that we are the right person or not. So you can check whether the certificate is valid or not with the certificate authority. That will check and tell you that whether it is a valid one or not. So that is the difference between these two. Hope I answered the question, Professor. um Swarabrani, I think Swarabrani, I guess. Yeah, thank you. Is there any other question, professors? Hope I gave some right basic informations covering both IoT and blockchain. Also highlighted right what are the important problem right now we have related to this particular area, and also I highlighted how this is going to play an important trendsetter in upcoming days. So I'm ending with some cartoons with you to smile and laugh. And the IoT devices, one of the other issues is privacy. When we're talking about various issues, I think some of you didn't mention it. So the privacy is another important problem of IoT devices. Imagine something like that. If you are entering into the some showroom or mall, and if you are getting that message, personalized messages like this, then what will happen? So right, so that is where, so every data with IoT device, we don't know that how it is going to be used, who is using the data, how it is going to be used. That is where blockchain coming into place with the identity, so that right, the data collected by the IoT devices not be misused, or without your permission it will not be taken out of it. So you will be having that assurance. That is another area where your blockchain can be combined with your IoT device. And this is another important problem. It's one of my favorite cartoon. You can look at it. So the privacy is another important challenge issue with your IoT devices. Yes, so that's all from my end. Thank you all. Hope the session
Thank
is
you.
useful to you, and also appreciate your patience and listening to this one.
Thank you, sir. Your most valuable speech impressed everyone, and it was an eye opener on IoT among the participants. It was an interactive session along with the essential attitude behavior required for the budding research scholars. We are sure that all participants would have reaped the benefits of your speech. Once again, we recorded our hearty thanks for the pain taken to be with us and for your praiseworthy contribution towards the successful conduct of the session. We are eagerly looking forward for more such sessions in the year to come. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you all.
Participants, kindly join the afternoon session on design and power blocks of IoT with the same link by 2 p.m. Thank you, sir, and thank you all.
Roy, sir. Hello.
Yes, Professor.
Sir, thank you very much for your informative session. I hope
Thank you, madam.
this will be the eye-opening for all the
Okay, okay.
academicians as well as researchers. I think so. And very good session. And then I hope all the participants are very alert in answering your quiz.
Okay.
We are all engaged with your complete the whole session. We engaged, sir. So thank.